Hi, folks. Andrew here, Top Fitness Strategies. I am the face who runs the place. Thank you for being here today. Got a great interview coming on tonight, and this is going to be a little bit different because, well, I'll tell you what, instead of trying to tell you everything that's going on, I will bring him on right now. My guest this evening is Greg Ewan, MD, and we're going to talk about something called Do-In, and we'll explain that in just a second. So, Greg, welcome to Top Fitness Strategies.
Thanks. Very nice being here, Andrew. Appreciate you having me.
Okay, so Greg, right away, I like to tell folks how we met. We're part of the same networking group, and Greg reached out to me and says, "Hey, I'd like to be on your podcast. This is what I do. Think we can fit it in?" I said, "Absolutely. This sounds fascinating. This is something I've never heard of before, being in the health and fitness field." So I don't know exactly where this is going to go, Greg, but we're going to have fun doing it. That's for certain.
Hey,
So before we get started, if you can tell everybody who you are, where you're from, your background, or anything about yourself you'd like to share.
Okay, great. Okay, I'm Dr. Greg Ewan. I'm a psychiatrist. I'm a Tai Chi instructor, and I've been licensed in massage therapy for over 40 years, all of those things. And I am in Honolulu, Hawaii. So we're quite a distance from where Andrew is. And I'm promoting this massage technique called Do-In. I call it mindful self-massage.
Okay.
And that's what we're going to be talking about today.
Okay. Now I mispronounced. I said Do-In. It's actually Do-In.
Yes. Do-In, yeah. Do-In.
And the website is right there, www.do-in.us. You can see it right there. So, okay. So you said this was a massage technique.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
And so right away when I hear that, I'm thinking, okay, so somebody is actually doing it, basically massaging me, but in a certain way. Is that?
No, this is self-massage. You're massaging yourself. Yeah, that's why I call it self-massage.
Okay. All right. You know, you just open yourself up to a lot of jokes.
I realize that it could be the case.
Okay.
But in either case, you're going to be having a good time.
That's right. That's right. Okay. So, all right. So tell me about okay, self-massage and Do-In.
Yes.
So tell me about that real briefly so I can start asking some more deeper questions.
I like to really put it into the context of fitness because I know that you're all about fitness. And all due respect, I have a little bit of a beef with fitness. I have nothing against fitness, really. I think fitness is great. But I think what happens a lot of times is we focus on the fitness. We want to achieve, we want to run that 10K faster than we ever could. And all these kinds of goals we have with our fitness. But I think we need to spend a little bit more time not just using our bodies to get where we want to go, okay, but also giving to our bodies so that our bodies will be more capable of going further, okay? So this Do-In mindful self-massage is about you giving some attention to your actual body. When was the last time that you really gave some focused attention to your body?
Okay. So
you want to answer that, Andrew?
Well, I don't know what you mean by that. And here's why. Here's why. Because this month, I decided my workouts, I do at-home workouts, are going to be strictly yoga. And I do a form of yoga called DDP yoga. It's a more intense type of yoga.
Right.
So when you say give attention to your body, to me, that's what I'm doing. But what I'm understanding what you're saying is completely different than that.
Okay, yeah, it is very subtle distinction, but I'm glad you brought up this topic because how do we give attention to our body?
Yes.
Somebody might say, well, if you eat a good meal, that you're kind of trying to give some attention to your body. Okay, well that's could be a good argument there. If you get a massage from somebody, is that giving attention to your body? Yeah, that's probably giving some attention to your body. If you run, a mile or two, is that giving attention to your body? Yeah, that's sort of giving attention to your body. If you do yoga, is that giving attention to your body? Well, I would say this about yoga. It depends on your yoga instructor and how they are teaching you to do yoga. Okay. So this attention that I'm talking about is being able to fix your mind to have mindfulness. Okay. So if you have your arm and you put your attention to this spot, that is being mindful of that spot. Okay. When was the last time that you were mindful of every spot in your body? Have you ever done that?
No, I'm still hung up on, okay,
Okay.
I don't know what you
Okay.
mean by being mindful. I mean, okay, so
Yeah. Okay.
there's a spot. So you're just focusing on that spot is what you're saying?
It's
Okay.
focusing on every part of your body. And just think about it. This focusing on every part of our body is giving attention like we do with anything else in our life. You know, whether we're giving attention to our pets, to our plants, to our kids, to our work. What happens when we give attention to anything? A lot of attention. What happens when we give something a lot of attention?
Yeah, give attention to something, you're focused on it.
Yeah, and what happens when you keep giving good attention to something?
I guess I don't know. I mean, I don't
It
necessarily know.
usually thrives. You know, if you taking
Oh,
giving
okay,
attention to your
okay,
kids,
okay.
to your plants, whatever, it usually thrives. Okay. And so what we're doing in this Do-In mindful self-massage is we're giving focus, concentrating attention to our body. So why won't this body respond and just thrive? You're giving it to all the individual cells when you're doing this. Okay.
Mhm.
So it's really helping with what we could call self-healing. Self-healing is what's going on
Okay,
there. Yeah.
it's funny, that's great you brought that up, because I'm a huge, huge, huge believer that the human body is a very complex and beautiful machine, if you will. It
Yeah.
can have the ability to heal in ways that science can never figure out, in my
Right.
opinion.
Okay.
And you being a
Right.
doctor, you might be able,
Yeah.
you might say, yeah, you're wrong, Andrew, but me being,
No, no, I actually agree with you. I actually agree with you. I think
okay,
a lot of times what we do, even with like taking, you know, say an aspirin or Motrin or whatever,
mhm,
we're really doing disservice to our body to a certain degree. Okay.
okay,
Uh, Sometimes our physical symptoms are really what I call a natural response of the body trying to balance itself. So when we use, say, pharmaceuticals or any kind of medical drugs
mhm.
to reduce those symptoms, we're not allowing the body to have a natural way of balancing itself. Yeah? So to that degree, I can tell you that I take no drugs at all. And I'm, you know, I'm going to say how old I am, over 70. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. And, you know, there's very, very rare times. I mean, I have to admit there was a time recently when I had an infection. I
Mhm,
did take antibiotics for like 3 days and so forth.
mhm.
But the whole point of it is really having a faith, as you say, in the natural processes of the body. And to help that natural process, this Do-In mindful self-massage will lead to the body being more responsive to any kind of insult that occurs or any imbalance that occurs. It will naturally sort of balancing it, and it's basically on Chinese medicine. I don't know if we want to go into that right now, but I'm
Sure,
happy
we
to.
can go, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we can get into that, and I wanted to talk about the physical aspects of it, but if Chinese medicine is a background of this,
Yeah.
absolutely, I
Okay.
wanna get into it.
All
So,
right. So
okay, so
so in
how do you mesh the 2?
okay. So in Chinese medicine, what they say is the qi is the word for the vital force in the body. That
Okay,
vitality in your body is called the qi. It runs through your body. And in traditional Chinese medicine, they say that most diseases are caused by a blockage in the flow of the qi or an imbalance in the flow of the qi. Okay.
okay,
So if you can get that circulation of qi, vital force, going throughout your body, then you are likely to really be able to avoid having any kind of physical illness. So it really ensures that you will be healthy if you can get that qi circulation going throughout your whole body. Okay.
Okay.
And the thing is, think about it, we don't really give that focused attention to our body in the way that we're talking about, like just, feeling this point, feeling this point, right? Focusing on that point. And then all the other points of our body. Okay. And when we do that, in the Tai Chi classics, it says, where your mind goes, the chi goes. So when we're mindful of a point, the chi will start to gather there. Okay. And in traditional Chinese medicine, they say where the chi goes, the blood goes. Okay. So we're focusing on a point, the chi starts to gather. Chi gathers, the blood starts to gather. Okay. The blood gathers, you got good oxygen, good nutrients going to that point, cleaning out carbon dioxide, cleaning out toxins. That point is going to be feeling really good and healthy. Okay.
Okay.
And if you do that to your whole body, your body's going to respond. It's going to just be, your whole body's going to be feeling really great, So that's what we're up to with this Douyin mindful self massage. We're having you give this focused attention to your whole body, and your body's going to just be feeling great.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you just opened up a whole lot more questions here for me. All right. So, all right. So when you give attention, and I completely understand what you're saying. Give attention to, like you said, this spot. All the chi, all the blood, and everything else is going to rush there. Especially if you're giving, lack of a better term, good attention to it.
Yes.
Everything good. But how do you focus on your entire body all the time? Because right now we're talking about one spot.
Oh, okay, great. That's a very good point. Very good point. Okay. We're not saying you need to focus on your whole body all at one time.
Okay.
In the massage sequence, we work on different parts of the body, but we systematically go through the whole body. So essentially, we're going to hit all the points in the body, virtually all the points. And so you do it kind of systematically, one part at a time. Yeah. But I'll tell you that as a seasoned practitioner of this art, and this is not just with the Douyin, but also being a Tai Chi instructor for over 40 years. Okay. I've worked to this mind-body connection where I can virtually just connect to the whole body. Like my whole body can, you could say, light up. Oh, like, like right now. Connect to the whole body. Because I've been doing it so much, and I'm so familiar with that connection. I can just light it up. But it takes training. It's like, I've been teaching Tai Chi for over 40 years. So, I've been doing it for that long or more, and so it takes some time to develop it, but it is doable. If I can do it, anybody else can do it,
So, all right. So you brought up Tai Chi, and you say you've been a practitioner of Tai Chi for a long time. Yes. So how did you get the transition from Tai Chi to Douyin? I mean, did somebody come to you and say, "Hey, check this out," or is it something you discovered on your own, or how did that work?
Okay, yeah. Okay, good question. I actually learned Douyin through a discipline called macrobiotics. Okay. I don't know if you ever heard of it, but it's a discipline that uses food primarily as a way to achieve health and happiness. Okay. And the principles of yin and yang of food. Okay. But in that particular discipline, which was originally founded by a gentleman, George Osawa, one of his students, Michio Kushi, is the main proponent that has spread the word about Douyin. So he's written some books on Douyin, D-O-I-N. Okay. And it was through macrobiotics, when I got involved with that I learned about Douyin initially. So while I probably was doing, I'm trying to think of which came first. I think I was probably doing Tai Chi before I started Douyin. Okay. But once I got into Douyin, I realized the value of it. And through the years, I've seen the benefit of that. Okay. And I kind of propose 4 phases to Qi cultivation. Okay. So in other words, we want to get this vital force, this Qi flowing out through our whole body, everywhere, to keep us balanced and feeling healthy and alive. And so I say there's 4 phases. Okay, first phase I usually recommend, I call it the body work phase. So if you have the time, see a body worker like, you know, a massage therapist, some sort, they can help you because they're professionals to find those areas in the body that need attention and where there's maybe a blockage in your chi flow, you could say. Now, a lot of these massage therapists, they don't talk about chi per se because they may not be so inclined to lean towards the Chinese approach to things. They might call it other things. They talk about fascia. They talk about, you know, deep tissue. You know, different kind of words for how they do the massage. But in general, if you have someone that you can work with, they can help you to learn about your body and how deep to go. Because usually people that have not had a lot of experience with massage, and if they start doing do-in off the bat, they tend to not go very deep when they're pressing on a point, okay? Because they haven't experienced it. They don't know what it's like. They're kind of tentative. They don't want to kind of hurt themselves. They don't have the familiarity, so they don't know what it is. So it's good to work with somebody that can give you a kind of a deep kind of massage so you get to really know the different parts of your body. That's the first phase. So the second phase would be the do-in phase, where somebody has helped you with that. You can kind of have more a facility to do it on your own. And, you know, with the instruction that I've given to people on do-in, they can kind of move forward on that with the do-in. The third phase I call the Tai Chi phase or the Qi Gong phase. That is kind of doing movements. You're doing movements, and as you're moving, you can kind of feel the Qi flowing in your body. Okay, so that's a kind of another advanced stage, if you will. And then the final stage I call the meditative phase, where you're just stationary, kind of just stationary. And with your mind, you can move the energy in your body. And that's very advanced, takes a lot of training, but that's also available if you train hard enough.
Okay. So right away, as you're going through this, the older I get, the more of lack of a better term, a believer I am of what you're saying. Now, back in my younger days, when I was, you know, a musclehead in the gym, you know, with the other muscleheads, and I can say that because I was one of them back then.
Yeah.
If we would have started talking this way, they would, all the guys, me included, would have said, "Woo, this guy, whoa, he's out there. It's planet Pluto out there." So obviously, those type of guys, and once again, I'm talking from self-knowledge because I was that type of guy.
Right, I hear you.
It's hard to get through their thick skull. There's nothing but muscle and machismo in there.
Right, gotcha.
So that's not your clientele. All right, I know that's not your clientele. So
actually, go ahead. Finish your thought.
So who would be your clientele? I mean, now a guy like myself who understands there's more to the human body than you know being able to bench press a Buick, so to speak. There's more to it than that. A lot more to it. Right. So how do you? I guess I don't want to say how do you penetrate the head of those type of guys, but how do you make them understand that what you're talking about is actually if just as beneficial, if not more beneficial than lifting
I'll just have to kind of try to be convincing enough. But I've actually seen things turn around a lot more. I think in athletics, take athletics for example. They're using a lot more of this mind power training and this visualization kind of training in athletic performance. And so even, you know, people that if you want to lift the weights, for example, they talk about Qi. I've seen people talk about Qi. So you're not just, you know, muscling the weight up, you're using your mind power to get it up. Okay. So the thing about the mind power is just think about this. If your mind is really connected to your body is going to respond a lot more with the mind power. Okay. So if you want to lift more pounds, if your mind is really integrally related to your body, the chances of you doing that are going to be a lot better than if it's not integrated with your body.
Okay.
You're just using muscle. You're not using so much mind power. Okay.
Okay.
So that would be my argument for these individuals. Hey, I have nothing against them if they want to lift weights or do whatever they want to do. Yeah, but it's just a matter of getting that edge. It really would be like an edge. Okay, you can build more muscle, have a bigger muscle, but with the mind, it gives you another edge. That other edge that can take you and excel beyond your usual limits or what other people might have limits about. So this is what I'm trying to sell in terms of the benefits of the Do-In mindful self-massage for athletic performance, whatever it may be.
Okay, so I just lost my train of thought here. So I am, if the people who watch my stuff and listen to me and read my articles know, I am a huge proponent of mindset. The mind, you have to believe that you can accomplish something first before.
Okay.
Now, whether you're conscious of believing you're doing it is a different story, but your mind has to believe. For instance, if you go back to my gym days, if you want to bench 300 pounds, I'm just using that as a round number. Your mind has to believe it can do it before your body can kick in and actually do it.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So what the Do-In mindful self-massage is saying is not to deny that kind of use of the mind. That's great psychology, but it's also adding another layer of psychological benefit where if your mind is integrally connected to your body, which is what we're trying to do, okay? So it has so many benefits. It has the health benefit of the chi going there, but when your mind is connected there and your mind says, do this, lift these 300 pounds, your body is more likely to respond because your mind is connected integrally to that body through the Do-In mindful self-massage.
Okay, so a lot that you're talking about, excuse me, and I am not a licensed practitioner of this. The term I'm going to use, I'm sure you've heard it before, is a neuro-linguistic programming, NLP. So what you're talking about, to me, from what little I've studied about NLP, they're close to being together if they're not married or intertwining with each other. Practices.
Well,
am I missing the boat here?
Well, I've had some experiences with NLP. I can't say that I'm any kind of authority on it, but
myself included. Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't think they get into what I'm talking about in terms of this focus, mindful connection between the mind and the body. They do talk about how, say, certain postures, for example, might be related to like as cues. Like, so for example, if you raise your hand, that's a cue to your head, like something is going to go a certain way psychologically or whatever. Okay. So
yeah.
You see the relationship with the body and your psychology, and that's great. But I'm talking to get to a level where your mind is so connected to your body that when you psychologically think something, your body is just going to fully respond in that way. Pretty powerful when you think about it.
Absolutely it is. Absolutely is. I mean, excuse me. You're hitting a lot of the things that I, internally, I believe this. I've just never heard it presented like you're presenting it. And so it's fascinating to me because I'm trying to wrap my mind around it. But at the same token, I said, okay, I need to be focused and asking the proper questions here. So I'm being pulled this way and being pulled that way. So this is what's fun about the interview.
I'm glad you're going through that, Andrew. That makes me feel like I'm making some kind of impact. So it's great.
Okay, so
for example, you're doing this yoga thing that you're doing. Okay. Now, what's tricky about yoga is, to me, a good yoga instructor, and all due respect, I don't claim that I'm a great yoga instructor, but knowing what I do with Tai Chi applies also to yoga. Okay. So when you're doing a stretch, for example, okay, there's something to just doing the stretch itself. But to me, the key is within that stretch, can your mind connect all the way through that? Can you be like here, all the way through that stretch? Okay. To me, that's where you get the value of the stretch. Yes, there's a value all by itself to kind of like stretch more than you usually do. But if you can get your mind connected to that stretch, there's a lot more value there. Okay. So you want to, whenever you're doing your yoga, you need to kind of like just get into your body and feel all the connections through your body. And that is, to me, going to give you a lot more value than just kind of going through the postures. And it's kind of like going through the motions without really getting the optimal benefit, you know? So I would encourage you to kind of consider that when you're going through your yoga practice.
Okay, well, thank you for that. So I'm still trying to wrap my head around the difference between the Do-In and the Tai Chi. And I admit I am not very well versed with Tai Chi whatsoever, but to me, from how you're describing it, they're similar as well, are they not?
They're quite similar. Well, the whole goal of my work is the chi cultivation. Okay. So people come to learn Tai Chi. You know, people come, they want to relax, they want to move around, they want to kind of, you know, feel good. But my objective is chi cultivation. So if they come in, they got to learn the movements first, learn the dance is going to be a certain way. After you learn the dance and you know the moves, then you go to the inner work, which is the chi cultivation, where you're moving. You're not just moving, you're following. Okay, in this move, you're following inside what's going on inside the arm, no? When you're moving. Okay. So eventually, okay, when you get advanced, you get really advanced, it's almost like your mind moves the chi and the chi moves the body. So it's kind of like, think of your arm like it's a balloon. Okay. And your mind goes in there like air filling a balloon. Okay. That's awareness. That's the awareness, the mindfulness. And then with the mindfulness, we said, comes the chi. So when I hold up my hand like this, okay, when the chi goes in, it fills up like a balloon, I can feel it sort of expand a little bit.
Okay.
Right? Your mind goes in and it can expand. Okay. But it takes training to do that.
You know, that reminded me just now of something that when I was a little kid, my sister and I used to do this, and I don't know how we got to it or whatever, but we go to a door frame and we push as hard as we can against the door frame. And all of a sudden, for about 5 seconds or so, 10 seconds, as hard as we could, we let our arms flop to the side, and all of a sudden, we felt our arms just float up on their own.
Wow.
And obviously, it was a mind thing because we were told that's what would happen. It's a mind thing, but just when he said the balloon expanded, it's the same principle. I mean, of course, your arms aren't going to go up just to go up. You know, all of a sudden your mind thinks it, and all of a sudden it feels like something is pulling your arms up. It was just the weirdest thing. And I just had a flashback to that when you were saying that. So pretty cool.
I'd like to try to explain that phenomenon a little bit.
Sure.
Okay, so here's how I would explain it. You're putting a lot of pressure on both sides. So you're tensing. Okay. When you relax, what happens is that balloon sort of collapses and relaxes, and then your chi automatically flows into that loose balloon on its own because it's so relaxed. The chi just automatically flows in there, and then that kind of lifts it up. I'm guessing that might be part of it.
Okay, yeah. Once again, we were little kids. Was just I don't know why you had a flashback to that.
Yeah, when you put so much tension, you can only go to relaxation. And when you relax more in your body overall, the chi will flow more. So when we're doing the Do-In self-massage, we're actually relaxing the muscles, and then the chi will flow more. When you're doing Tai Chi, when you do a movement, you do it loose and light and soft and relaxing, and then the chi will flow more. If you do it hard, there's not going to be a lot of that feeling of chi. The chi will not be able to penetrate into your limbs and all that.
Interesting. Doc, Dr. Greg, sorry. I only ask for a half hour every time. We're about up. Tell people how they can find you and
Okay.
what you have going on and everything. And I got a
Right.
couple more questions for you.
Okay. Okay. Well, I would invite you to go to that website, doin.us, do-in.us. You can learn more about Douyin. And then I actually have a instructional video that you can have a link to. Just give me your email address, and you'll have access to that instructional video. And it'll go through systematically the different parts of the body and have you show you different points to press and so forth. And you'll get this great sequence so you can become very much more mindful of your body, connecting your mind to your body, giving love to your whole body, care to your whole body, and having you feel much more alive and full of chi.
Fantastic. And again, that's www.do-in.us. And I'll have it in the show notes and ways to contact you, Dr. Greg. No problem there. So, all right. There's to do this practice with you. Do they have to be present, or can you do it like for instance, I'm in Indiana in the United States, and you're in Hawaii, United States.
Right.
Would we be able to work together, or is this a connection you have to be physically present with each other?
It's really better. I encourage people to be in person to do it. It's much better. Of course, today with all the Zoom that we're doing with all kinds of things, people have been more likely to do Zoom kind of sessions. I don't encourage it so much. If you really want to get into it, I would say do it in person. But I realize, I'm trying to reach a big audience to spread the word about this Douyin. So I will probably be doing some Zoom sessions at some point, but it's a little more difficult because the other part of it is I like to do hands-on with the students because I can actually press on their bodies like they've never felt before, and they realize, oh wow, I can go, wow, I didn't know I could feel that, and it can go so deep and all that. Because if they don't have experience with being massaged by anyone, they don't know what it's like to just go very deep into their body. So sometimes it's good for me to go around and kind of press on students to let them know what it really feels like when they get really in there. So that's really beneficial. But yeah, I'm willing to do Zoom. If people want to invite me to do Zoom with groups or whatever it may be, I'm available.
Fantastic. So if somebody wanted to be and forgive me if this term is wrong, a do-in practitioner,
right,
I would assume they have to get licensed or go through some sort of training for this, right?
No, there's really no formal training. I'll tell you this.
Okay.
There is a Douyin Academy in the Netherlands. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there is a Douyin Academy in the Netherlands. And I think there's probably in Japan, there's probably some schools of Douyin or similar to that. I honestly, because of the language barrier, it's hard for me to really access what they are. But I do know that there is an academy in the Netherlands, and this teacher there wrote a book on it. Her style of Douyin is a little different than my style. I kind of have my own kind of style. She incorporates a little bit more of some moving kind of exercises in her Douyin, which I'm not against. The traditional Douyin that I learned does have some of the movement there. I tended to not go to the movement because I was more focused on just making the mind-body connection. And when you move, you're not really say if you move your head like this, you're not really focused on any particular point or whatever. You're just kind of doing the movement. So I don't think it gets to this chi cultivation as much. I mean, that's just my opinion. So I've kind of fashioned my Douyin to just like get to the point, so to speak. Like really make that point by point connection in your body.
Oh, this has been fascinating, Doc. And no, and once again, I only asked for a half hour of your time, and we're way past that, so I apologize for that. But my word, we can talk about this all night because I have a gazillion other questions about this. Is so fascinating for me. So
well,
I'm
happy to
do another session sometime. So
yeah, I'm happy to do another follow up, Andrew. If some of your followers want more to know about it, I can do a little more demonstration and a little like that. Happy to do
Okay,
that.
that'd be great. Yeah, if we can do something like that. Okay, folks, this about wraps it up. But I'm here with Greg Ewan, MD. You can go to www.doin.us. That's do-in.us. Check it out. Get his instructional video over there. Follow him. If you need to ask questions, feel free. I would assume he'll answer any questions that you got about it. And if you haven't wrote it down, and you're driving or listening to podcasts, whatever, you can always contact me. I can throw a message out Greg's way. It's not a problem there as well. So be safe, first of all. But we'll get your questions answered if you have it. So, Greg, thank you for being my guest tonight at Top Fitness Strategies and Top Fitness Strategies Presents. Go ahead.
I just want to leave my email. I should have left my email address. It's gregewan@cs.com, charliesamuel.com. gregewan@cs.com.
Again,
so
all that will be
email me if you have any questions about the Doin. You need some support with it. Hey, I'm there for you because I really want to spread this practice throughout the world if I can. I think it's very valuable.
I hope I can help spread a little bit of it so we can get you going there. So, Greg, thank you for being my guest, and I'm sure we'll do this again soon. But
thank you so much, Andrew.
You're welcome. This is Andrew and Greg. I am the face who runs the place here at Top Fitness Strategies. So until next time, ciao.